Catalysting Company. Catalysting Company, we're catalysting each other's lives and our own, and we work towards being the artist we've always wanted to be. Um, and I thank everybody who's been writing comments. There was one that kind of upset me yesterday uh, because I'd also been hit by a really horrible one on Instagram where someone called me. Let me see. Oh no, I posted it. I think on Saturday, and it was about Roe v. Wade, which was overturned on Friday, and it's to me it's really criminal. Um, uh, Amongst the many things that we talked about in one of the last videos, the one where it says today's a sad day or something like that. Um, Amongst the many things that are deeply upsetting about this and the constraints that it puts on women and all women, and you know, they're they want to track travel, um, women's travel. They want to be able. Let me see. What did they remove? The right to privacy or something. I can't remember because my brain is taken up with how the things that they can do to us. The Supreme Court now, the rights and constitutional rights they can take away from each and every person on a whim. But one of the things. Where was I going? One of the things that I find incredibly upsetting, and I don't hear a lot of people talking about, is none of the onus for a pregnant woman is put on the male. None. None of the responsibility for getting a woman pregnant is on the male. None. There's absolutely no responsibility. There's no acknowledgement that a man would be involved, other than the woman's gotten pregnant, so it's all her fault, and she has to be forced to have a baby now. And people keep saying, oh, it's only in so many states. Well, there are actual women, millions of women who live in these states who are now, their lives have been boxed up for them. And it's pretty much, I can't even, because everybody's talking about it. And there's people that are super happy, oh yay, the baby. Well, if you're not going to adopt the fucking baby that this woman does not want, cannot afford, then you need to keep it to yourself. Hi, Christopher. Oh, Christopher, you are amazing. I've been watching your video. Oh, that's really sweet. Oh, thank you so much. I never think anybody's watching these. I really appreciate that. Anyway, they're not putting the responsibility on men, and that's not even part of the discussion. So I was very upset over that, and I was saying, oh shit, it started off going in one direction, then it went in another, and I don't remember how it started, but that's how we roll. Anyway, very sad, made that video, and I can't remember. I'll have to rewatch this and then address it another time. But, so today, Christopher, where was I going? Where was I going? Blah, blah, just doing that. So since I completely forgot, derailed once again my thoughts and speech. I know. People have been friending me on Facebook and following me on Instagram and writing different comments in YouTube. Not a lot of people. I mean, I'm certainly not any of the Kardashians. No, you didn't distract me. I distracted me, Christopher. I do it really well. There were squirrels running around in the attic all the time. So thank you so much, though. I really appreciate that. So somebody wrote a comment on one of the YouTube videos, and I found it somewhat heartless and condescending, and not thinking, let me walk a foot in this woman's shoes, let alone a mile, because things, people who know me are like, oh, of course that happened to you, and I'm like, of course the avalanche fell on you and buried you for a year or two, and then donkeys ran over the snow, and people who know me are like, they just. I used to have a friend who used to call me up and go. She would call me up and go, okay. She worked in a design office that I did freelance work for, and she call me up and go, everybody's bored today. Tell us what happened. Give us a story. What happened today? And she would just sit there and laugh. She goes, you're the only person. You really are the only person that this stuff could happen to. So somebody wrote, a comment, and I left it in YouTube. I just kind of ignored it. But then someone on Instagram wrote, I posted about Roe v. Wade, and it's nothing. It's just a photograph of a woman screaming at a wall, which has now been shared everywhere. And he wrote under it, overeducated and unloved. That was his evaluation of me. And I read it, and I was like, motherfucker. I just wrote, overeducated and unloved. And it's like the unloved comment I can kind of go along with. I mean, I'm like, yeah, I get it. I've got friends, but I understand. But the overeducated, for some reason, that got under my skin. First of all, I never graduated college. I went to art school, but only for a short time, and I never graduated college. Thank you for the compliment that you think I'm overeducated, and how exactly is that a criticism of any human being? You smart person. I don't think I'm that smart, but you smart person, I don't understand how it's supposed to be an insult, but, and unloved. I just wrote back, I just texted back, and I go, because of the context of it with Roe v. Wade, I just wrote back, here's an idea, go fuck yourself. So, and then I got this other comment, and I'm like, but today we're feeling better. I've been painting every day, regardless of what's going on in the world, and I hope you are too. I hope you're working on your projects, but I've been listening to stuff on Audible, and right now I have, and I want to recommend this, this has really made me feel a lot better about life. Now, that and never reading anything again online. Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend. He interviews Jack White. And this is such a good interview. Jack White talks about how he started, but he started off as an apprentice in an upholstery shop. And so he knows how to build and upholster furniture. But they're talking, and in these, I'm sorry, I'll shut up soon. But I'm feeling so much better as long as I don't pay attention to the world. In these videos, now I've made about 560 videos, 565 videos, I'm not sure. There's a lot of videos, maybe 570, I don't know. Between Studio 120 and this one, there's a lot of videos. So I've made them. And I feel like I'm on the edge of the world. Nobody knows I'm there, except for you guys, you and Christopher, and Kerry, and our friend Dawn, and our friend Linda, and Cheryl, and Sherry, and, all of our friends here. It's like this secret little corner of YouTube, because I'm not tap dancing, I'm not wearing glitter, I'm not pandering, I don't do TikTok. I don't do mouth words to other people, mouth to other people's words, on Instagram. I don't do it. I'm not interested. I've had a whole lot of people tell me I should do TikTok, I should do 30-second videos, you should do this, you should do that, and I just go, and I ignore everyone. All this you shoulds, all the you should rebrand yourself, you should do this. I just ignore everyone. And then a lot of days I go, maybe I should become somebody else, do things the way other people do, copy other people, but then it's disingenuous. It's not true. It's disingenuous. Oh, years ago you had a great video about your impressions after seeing... Oh, I'm so glad, Christopher. I'm so glad. Norman Rockwell, as you know, totally changed my world, seeing his work in person. I'm so glad that I was able to help you. Keep doing what you're doing. Thank you, Christopher. Kind of can't do anything else but be this. Be exactly what you see. So anyway, I just kind of ignore all the you shoulds and keep going. And in this interview with Jack White was talking about when we used to buy, love the video. Oh God, you're so, oh Brian, hi Brian! Brian! This is one of the last two canvases, the other one I worked on a while ago. Brian, hold still. But Jack White was talking about how, talking about albums and how we would collect albums and find obscure things, and we would know the albums inside and out. And he was talking about social media. Ta-da, look what you helped me to do. Look what you helped me to do. This is where we are, Brian. And I'm going to work on this some more. They're looking great. Thank you. Thank you. I felt bad. I felt disrespectful to you, Brian, because I'm not working as quickly. The folds and the creases in the dresses are taking me a lot of time. Susan! Hey, Susan! How are you? Oh my God. I can't believe people are tuning in. This is so fantastic. Our community. But Jack White was talking about, oh, I feel so good right now. Thank you so much. It's been such a sad few days, and I feel so much better. Thank you. I hope you do too. I hope you feel better too. But Jack White was talking about albums and how we knew them inside and out, and we found these little niches, and they were talking about music, and I went, oh yeah, all those little niches I used to find in music and in books and counterculture. David, thank you very much. I really, oh my God. All right, now I'm going to start to blush. This is going to turn into one of those things. Like when I do on-site painting and have to talk to people and do visits and chat with groups. I'm going to start to blush now. Thank you very much, David. But I remember that feeling of finding that niche and that thing that you think nobody knows anything about. I was a DJ at a radio station, college radio station, one radio station, and it was all about new music and finding these brand new artists that nobody knew anything about yet. And we would get samples. I mean, I remember when we got Dave Matthews Band, and that was before they hit it big, but Soul Coughing, I love Soul Coughing. XTC, I love XTC. I listened to this one radio station on Cape Cod, 90.7 WKKL, for years, or BCN out of Boston, and you would hear this random song and pick up on it, and it would fill your heart, and you had to learn everything about the artist and buy their albums, and you try and tell people how great they were. But it was a secret. It was always like this secret within a little community, and then you could meet people who knew that secret, and they knew that music, or they knew that author, or they knew that comic book, or they knew that graphic novel. All the nerdy stuff we just loved. And that's the way I feel about, I realized a little while ago listening to this interview with Jack White, that's how I kind of feel about our little corner of the world over here. While everybody else is off, being a big name brand, they're all being Kardashians or TikTok Kardashians or whatever. We're kind of in our little corner, just enjoying ourselves in our quiet space. And so I feel much, much, much better about where we are, because I normally look at my numbers and I'm like, ugh, I had, 3 people watch me, or 50 views, but at the same time I go, I don't care. But now I feel even prouder that we've built that secret little corner niche over here. We can all be friends and we can all talk. We have to be nice because I'm very fragile, and help each other, through the comment section and connections. I've watched people connect on social media because of these silly little videos, 570 videos now. So anyway, I'm gonna get to work on this, Brian. This is what I'm working on. I worked on the dress earlier. My iPad had a lot of trouble, so it kept shutting off or freezing or whatever. Hopefully it'll hold in there. But I worked on her dress today, Brian. Yesterday we worked on this dress. I've been trying to tie in their faces and reconfigure the figures, pulling them slightly together a little bit more. I have to work on their colors and their faces, but it's also going to be the backgrounds. I can't ignore the backgrounds. But right now I want to get to work on the shop window a little bit. I've got magazines and album covers, a couple of album covers I've got to kind of make vague reference to, as well as the darks and the lights in the background in this shop. But as you can see, this is where we've gotten, and thank you very much, Brian, for the canvases. Yeah. All right, I'm going to shut up now, and we're doing a studio mate in another state, so you work on your project, I'll work on mine, I'll be your studio mate, but the great thing is, I'm not making a mess on your side of the studio, and I don't owe you rent. It's a win-win. And thank you, everybody. This was really kind. This was very, very kind of you. I'm going to put Jack White on again. If you don't know Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend, I got it on Audible, but you can get it on any podcast, pretty much any podcast site. All right? Get to work. I don't have a stand for this iPad anymore. I left it behind at some venue that I was painting at. I'm a little annoyed with myself. So I get to hold it like a palette. I just stopped the podcast for a minute. I don't know if you can see. Yeah, I want to show you an alternative to easels, because I don't like them. I can't stand easels. I have boxes and chairs and things that I use instead. And I made up this really cool system that I want to show you, because I'm going to lower these paintings anyway for a sec, and then I'll raise them up. I have another wall behind me that has screws in it, so I can raise and lower the paintings. But here I've got 2 ladder back chairs and a shelf that came out of another rental that I was in. Did I want it up higher? No, I wanted it down lower. But the ladder back chairs, with the ladder back chairs, I can take the shelf and just kind of slide them into the backs of the chairs. Ta-da! And I've got a way to raise and lower, and I can also, stretch the chairs out so that I can do my bigger paintings, squish them in for smaller paintings if I need to. But these two guys are actually ramps for my scooter when I have to move. This is how I load my scooter into a U-Haul. And if I need them even higher than the top of the ladder back chairs, I've got little wooden boxes that I put on top, and then I can raise my my canvas. So if you're thinking that you need to buy an easel, you really don't. They're very dumb. I've owned several, and I've always broken them, and I hate them, and they just feel too formal and constricting. The only problem is, center of this shelf bends sometimes, but that's what little paperback books are for. Stick underneath the canvas. All right, that's all I wanted to tell you, I think. Let's see. Okay, I'm gonna go back to Jack White. You go back to your thing. this Jack White interview is so good. You gotta hear it. Jack White interview is over. If you get a chance, listen to that. That's Jack White on Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend podcast. And then another interview I would highly recommend is there's a podcast called Smartless. Smartless with Will Arnett, Jason Bateman, and Sean Hayes, and it is so good. I've been listening to it since it started. Again, it's called Smartless. It's called Smartless, and they did an interview with the actor Bradley Cooper, and he is nothing like I imagined he would be. It was really one of the nicest interviews I've ever heard. But I listen to Smartless every week. I think new episodes come out every Tuesday. It's really, really good. And they're good friends. And so they're just not mean to each other, which I always appreciate. Got enough meanness in this world. It's exhausting. And what was the other thing? Oh yeah, Conan O'Brien did a live show a while ago, and Will Arnett joined him on stage. If you get a chance, it's somewhere in his podcast. If you get a chance, listen to it. It's so friggin' funny. I listened to it umpteen times. I think it came out a couple months ago. I listened to it so much. When it first came out, I loved it. I loved it. Again, they're not being mean. It's, not one of those exhausting things, and they appreciate each other, and they just, it's what the world should be. Some of the podcasts I listen to. It's the way everyday life used to be and is no longer. All right, maybe that's far-reaching. So in the last video, we talked about the color combinations used in the skirt. None of them, although that might look like there's white in it, it's mainly Radiant Blue by Gamblin. I love that. It's one of my favorite colors because it mixes so well with other colors. In fact, I mixed Radiant Blue with yellow to get this kind of gold effect in the belt buckle. But I'm using it again over here along with Transparent Earth Red. Thank you my friend Bill for sending me a tube. I do appreciate. And I've also mixed in Gamblin Artist Colors. Oh no, let me come back. It's yelling across the room. So this has it's Radiant Blue by Gamblin. They're Portland Gray, a little bit of Portland Gray and Transparent Earth Red is what's making up these white tiles instead of coming in with just white. And it's funny because it looks like white. In the last video I was talking a lot about color combinations and the mixtures that I use. Oh, no wonder. Okay. I was trying to figure out this was irritating me, and now I realize why. The line isn't straight. It kind of tilts just a little bit. That's okay. We'll leave it. Oh, and in the last video I talked about an Audible book that I'm listening to too. Tom Pappas. The Canadian Tom Pappas put out a book. Well, actually, it looks like he has a number of books available through Audible. He's very funny. I'm really appreciating this one book that I'm listening to, which is... Trying to pull it up. Ooh, David Sedaris on Conan O'Brien. Woo. Oh, Tom Papa. It's Tom Papa, sorry. You're doing great. And it's just, it's really, he's very funny about just kind of getting through the day and how it's okay. Like I said earlier, or in the last video, you know, it's okay if you have that piece of cake. It's okay. It's okay if you get sad. It's okay. Because that's part of being human. And it's just, but he puts it in a really funny way, so that I found that really just very, very helpful. I mean, he's basically spewing common sense, but it's in a very, very, very funny way. And especially with the things that have been going on. It's just kind of nice to hear. You're doing okay. It's alright if you're sad and angry. Or just sad. I also, I'm now going to give you a listening list, part of the service. I also listened to Bob Odenkirk's, Bob Odenkirk from Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad and Mr. Show and like a million other things, Saturday Night Live, etc. I listened to his book. I think it was comedy, drama, I believe. I don't know. That was excellent as well. I always appreciate hearing There we go. I like listening to stories by actors, comedians, and musicians. Not all musicians, but some musicians. Because we're kind of in the same, we're actually in the same boat with them. You know, a lot of trying, a lot of trial and error, a lot of failing, a lot of waiting for things to happen, things falling through. So I listen to them. I listen to podcasts and books and interviews with actors, musicians, blah, blah, blah. And so, I happen to really like Bob Odenkirk, who was also on Smartless. But I listened to his book and all the things that he went through in his career and how grateful he is. It sounds like such a nice guy. Like heartwarming. Ugh. And how many times he got rejected or people didn't get his work, but he has that personality where he can go boopity boo, I'm gone. Boopity boo, I'm moving on. Thing I'd recommend listening to on YouTube, actually. I just gotta get this color. I think it's the New York Times, I don't really remember. If you go on YouTube and look up Actors Roundtable, see if I can find it really quick. It's actors and actresses and comedians and writers and stuff sitting around a table and all talking and sharing. And THR, the Hollywood Reporter, Actors Roundtable. Here's an example. That's what you would look for. Let's see if we pull up the main page. There it is, the Hollywood Reporter, THR. These interviews are so cool because these extremely famous artists, actors, etc., are sitting around talking about their experiences. And you sit there and listen to them and go, oh my God, you've been through that too. They talk about being bamboozled or being told they weren't white enough or brown enough, or they were too brown, or they were too white, or they were too Latino, which is a thing. She's got cankles. And of course it's a thing. I didn't mean that. I was just saying it. Too black, too whatever, not female enough, too fat. You know, all these actors and actresses talking about these things that happened to them before they became the actress, the actor, the comedian, and still what they deal with. The really, really interesting things, and you go, oh, it happens to you too. Oh, Samuel Jackson, really? what I love is that they feel so vulnerable. They're just people sitting around a table talking. It's really cool. That's supposed to be her shoe. So I do believe this is video number 60 in our series Catalyst and Company. I can't believe it. I thought we had only made a few. Here we are. Something right now, so I'm gonna have to stop this chatter and the feed, the live feed, because it's about to start raining, and I gotta run out for a sec. Plus, I have to go pee really bad. Remember I was talking about how the canvas is kind of bowed. These are from Michaels. I love Michaels, but sometimes their canvases bow. They hit the top, the top and the bottom. Oh no, it's gonna rain in a sec. Shit. The wind just started blowing in. It got dark. Anyway, the top and the bottom connect with the center. There's a gap in the center, and there's nothing I can do about it. But that's part of the fun too. I don't like everything perfect and matchy-matchy. I don't like the human quality to it. Shit. Alright, it looks like it's going to start raining now, and I can't go to the store. But let's take a little potty break. Take a potty break, wash up. I'm going to cover up my scooter so it doesn't get soaked. Yeah, no, we'll be back in a few minutes. Since I can't go out anyway, we'll just keep doing this. We'll just keep working. Show you something really. Oh, he got up. Chimmy has been sleeping in a chair behind the iPad for hours. Like, it's about 8:15 now, 8:05. I think. Oh shit! It's raining. I think he's been over there napping since like 1 this afternoon. Crawled up again. Watch. That's Chimmy, that's my neighbor's cat. And it is now raining, so I have to run out. Run out and come to the scooter. it gets loud in here when it rains. So that's what you're going to be hearing. I know this looks like black. What I'm applying right now is not. It's Payne's Gray with transparent or thread again, and a little bit of a purple, the quin purple. that later. The paint is too wet. I'm just pushing it around. I don't want to make a clear indication of too much of the vent, in the metal in the vent. Just need suggestions of a vent. But the paint is so wet, I'm just pushing it around, so screw that, I'll do it later. Boopity-boo. Just got an alert that there are strong thunderstorms moving in over Sarasota. They're about an hour late on that one, but okay. Here, let's move this over just a tad. There. Wildest colors outside right now. Really, really intense colors. Kind of interesting. Last night I was taking a walk and I stopped and took pictures. It was pitch black out and it rained again like it is now. There were clouds with a little bit of pink light that backlit different, that backlit some landscape. So I ended up taking pictures, and not one for doing landscapes, although I've done them for chasing galleries. I don't like daytime landscapes. They're just not interesting to me. So I did a bunch of nighttime landscapes for them. And so I started taking pictures because I've got these two canvases that I was going to use for a project that is apparently moved now. I was asked to actually have a museum show, a museum exhibit, and amongst the many things that were things, you know, they just kind of evaporated. That evaporated, and no explanation. It's another one of my stories. But anyway, yeah, museum exhibit. Where was I going? Oh yeah, I was going to use these two canvases for that show, and at that point I already built up an entire portfolio for the exhibit, and I never got my contract. I never got the money for it, and so I just put it to the side. Put this canvas set to the side. And haven't used it. But as I was taking the photographs last night, I thought, oh, this would be perfect for those two little canvases. They're very small. It'll work. Can't forget, tomorrow I'm supposed to be talking with a fellow who is a director of another museum here in town. I don't know about what, but I forget, I've got to remember to call him. I never told you guys about that. I just alluded to a big project. It was actually supposed to be a solo exhibit at a museum up north. You would watch me actually build a portfolio for it. You watch me build the show. I just never told you what it was for. I told my friends on Patreon about it. And I told a few people, like my friend Bill and a few, friend Catherine and a few other people about it, and then whoopity-doo, wah, wah, wah. else that may or may not happen. So I actually have someone that's pretty well known who I was over their house and we ended up talking art because she has this she's actually very well known, but she has this massive art collection. And so we were talking, and before I was going to leave, because I was doing a job over there, I was doing some job over there. Before I left. Before I left, I said, this might sound kind of ridiculous, but if you like, because she actually knows my artwork, she knows chasing galleries, and she's an artist as well, but she has this really incredible collection. It's like walking through a museum. It was so much fun. It's probably one of the best, actually, exhibits I've ever seen, and it was in a private home. And I can't tell you what was in the house, and I can't tell you who it is, because I can't. And I said I wouldn't. But I looked at her and I said, this might sound ridiculous, but would you like to come over and paint sometime? Come to my studio. And she was so sweet. She was like, really? And so of course, and then she invited me to her studio as well, which I thought was really nice. So we'll see if that happens. But it was very cool. If it does, and if I'm allowed, then I'll tell you who, and maybe we can post pictures, but as of right now, can't really tell you who, but it was very cool. She looked at me and said, and I can't even tell you who this person is that she's working with, because, yeah. Anyway, she said, I have to finish this project with this very famous director who's directed a lot of my very favorite movies. First. And I just looked at her and I said, of course you do. So we'll see what comes out of tomorrow, and we'll see if my new friend actually does come over and paint what she's done with her project. I wish I could tell you more, but it was really one of the most comprehensive collections of work I've ever seen in any museum, or almost any museum. Again, I gotta be protective, a little protective. So we'll see what happens tomorrow, and I took those pictures, those landscape pictures last night. So I think the next time we do a studio mate, or the next videos we do, will be of some nighttime landscapes, which can be really exciting, especially with the light coming from behind the trees, and you can see through. It really allows me to play with light and also with the aerosols and the way it'll work in the shadowing and pushing things to the forefront, etc. That would be pretty cool. Yeah, it was funny when the woman I'm being vague about, the person I'm being vague about, the conversation started. Like I said, I was over there doing a job I will no longer be doing because blah, blah, blah. Because shit happens. And I won't be treated like a piece of garbage. Not by her. She's fine. But anyway, blah, blah, blah. Boopity boop. Anyway, I'm standing in this house and I looked, standing by a table, and there's like stacks of art books on this table. And I said, "Oh, John Singer Sargent." And the woman that owns the house, the homeowner, said, "Oh, you like John Singer Sargent?" And I said, "Of course." She said, "Well, I know John Singer Sargent because I lived in Boston and I went to such and such school." And I'm like, "Oh my God." She goes, "I used to hang out at the Elizabeth Stewart Gardner Museum all the time." And I'm like, "Oh my God, me too." She said, "I used to go there on Sundays." And I'm like, "Me too." That was pretty cool. That was very, very cool. We don't want to talk about Boston and art in Boston and museums. Artwork that you would normally only ever see in museums. It's a very cool day. I went back to finish the job. We had talks again. It was nice. It was very nice. So if you were looking at this line before, it was more a notation, like this one. They're not absolute. It's all fixable, as we have discussed many times. They're just notations. perspective, I love perspective. It's pretty extreme in this photograph. When I was a kid, I wanted to be an architect. And I was the first girl in my school district, first female to take drafting. I wanted to go to Wentworth, but back then girls didn't take drafting, so boys were very hostile and violent towards me, so I gave up. I shouldn't have given up, because I wanted to rebuild old buildings, make them useful again, and now it's called repurposing. But I used to sit and dream and sketch and draw out how I would repurpose, before it had a name, carriage houses and warehouses and all kinds of things. But I fell in love with lines and perspective. And when I sign my paintings, it's actually the way I sign is the way I learned to sign in drafting. The letters are very square. They're reasonably straight and square. And that's my ode to drafting at Dennis Yarmouth High School. So this once again there's Portland gray mixed with radiant blue down below and transparent earth red, and now I'm going over it again because I just realized this is wood. This is a wood window. This might be wood as well, but I just don't want to. I don't want to futz with it. Like cement. Christopher, if you're still out there, I'm painting curtains, and this again reminds me of Norman Rockwell and the grandmother painting. The painting of the grandmother and the grandson. Sitting in a diner, and they're praying. Let's see. And they're praying. They're sitting at a truck stop, and there are truck drivers just kind of staring at them, you know, looking at them as they give thanks for their food. And in the background, Norman had painted these curtains that just, they blow me away because they're super, super thick with white paint. I mean, it's this shadowy background, industrial background, and then these curtains, and it's just caked with paint, and I love it. You can see how he went from dark to light in all the different shades. I don't know if you remember, Christopher, in that video, I talked about my glass palettes, my milk glass palettes, and come to find out, when I went to the museum, that's exactly what Norman had, was glass palettes, almost identical to mine. And I have since given one away. I had 3, but I gave one away, and then the other one I dropped and broke a couple months ago. You still there? Christopher, you're still here. Yeah, that's what I'm working off of right now. They're over there on my painting table, but I dropped, one fell. Actually, I had it on a stool, it fell and it snapped, so a corner snapped off of it, and another one I gave away. I wish I hadn't. But the person I gave it to must have needed one badly or been very important, and I decided they were going to have one. Because you can't even find them anywhere. So I'm going to treat the curtains the way I did the dress, where I had these initial lines down, but now I'm just going to kind of work with sharp lines as I go lighter and lighter and kind of crisscross. So we've got the indication of curtains, but it's not like this is a curtain and this is a curtain fold. We do what Norman did. Layering, but not too much layering, because I don't want it to be super heavy. This shouldn't be too much of a focal point. Just a suggestion, as my mother used to say. Just a suggestion. Alright, now I'm putting down some titanium white. It's with the radiant blue. If you watch, I'm not really too worried about it. I just kind of put down the brush strokes and know that if it doesn't work out at this particular moment, we can get it to work out again later. Out building it up. This is pretty awkward and stiff, but again, I'm not really worried about it. It'll work out. Just making notations. Or it's 9 o'clock-ish. I never know what time it is. It's 9 o'clock-ish. So I think I'm going to stop. I'm going to walk to the store. Get a little walkies in today. Let this dry so I can come back and play with it again later. Alright, I'm going to stop. I'm driving myself crazy, and some of this paint is so wet, I'm just pushing it around. So, let's see. Okay. Let's step back and take a little look-see. We'll tilt it up. Yeah, we got a fair amount of work done. I hope you got work done too in your studio. Where's my thing? I hope, oh, there we go. I hope you got work done too in your studio. And, oh, okay, wait a minute. Oh. My God. You can't really see it. is so hard here to prop this thing up. Another book. Ugh. There we go. Yeah, sorry, I had to prop the camera up on the stand for the camera up on a book. Anyway, this is how far we've gotten. I think we did okay. Looking at it in the reverse, I can see issues, but they're not issues that are going to destroy the painting. So I think we're doing okay. We've got a fair amount of work done. It stopped raining and I gotta go to the store. So I'm gonna start walking now and get my couple of miles in today. But yeah, pretty happy. Been working on the dresses the past couple days. I honestly thought that I would have it done. I thought I would have it done yesterday, but I'm not gonna punish myself because I haven't gotten as far as I want. At least not at this moment. And like this all gray was seeming a little too contrite. But now I'm building up down here too, the sidewalk and everything. Yeah, we got the window done, the dresses are almost there. As soon as I get the base done, then I think I'm gonna have to reshape her face, start working on the lights and darks in her face, but I think we're okay. Listen, it was really great. Thank you for spending so much time with me. Thanks for putting up with me, and I'm really glad we can do this. I'm really glad we get to be studio mates and we don't have to be alone. And we can say hi to each other and talk a little bit. Anyway, I'm Beck Lane. This is Catalyst and Company. Catalyst and Company, where we're catalysts in each other's lives as well as our own. And hopefully we work towards being the artists, or we do work towards being the artists we've always wanted to be. Sometimes together, sometimes it's me just ranting or talking about podcasts, which is fun. But yeah, this has been really great. And if you'd like to help support Catalyst and Company, all the links are down below, including link to TeePublic, where you can buy my stuff printed on t-shirts and posters and things, coffee mugs. Patreon, where you can supply monthly support, and monthly support starts as low as $5 a month. I haven't been that chatty on Patreon for various reasons. I haven't been, but I continue working regardless, and I don't take it for granted when people do support me monthly. The other thing is there's links to Cash App and PayPal if you'd like to buy me a tube of paint or a cup of coffee. And then there was other stuff too, links to my account on Michaels, Amazon, blah, blah, blah. All the links are down below anyway. Or if you'd like to get pricing and information on the paintings that you see me do on YouTube or on Instagram, the paintings you see on Facebook, whatever, the galleries and reps are listed down below, including J. Louise at Blue Way Gallery in Fort Lauderdale, Mark and Andrew at Chasen Galleries here in Sarasota, and Raphael at Artfront Galleries in Newark, New Jersey. All their info is down below. Anyway, that's it. All right, Carrie, time for a nap. Christopher, you've been awesome. Thank you so much for everything. Thank you to everybody for saying hello, Susan and everybody, and Brian. Thank you, Brian. All right, Carrie, here we go. Ready? Ciao, ciao. Meow, meow, meow. Okay, I gotta find the